I challenged myself to burn 800 calories every single day for 2 weeks straight. And these are my biggest takeaways. One, I learned just how hard I can really push. And two, burning a ton of calories every single day will literally not help you lose weight whatsoever unless you change your diet. But before we get into my results, let me first explain a little bit more about the challenge and why I decided to do this. On my Patreon in the Discipline Club tier, we do monthly challenges like this every single month, sometimes multiple challenges a month. The idea is to help us build discipline, consistency, and help us build healthier habits. By doing these challenges in short spurts, like 1 week, 2 weeks, 10 days, they feel more achievable. They push us just enough. And because we have a whole community of people who are doing the same thing and we are holding each other accountable, we actually are more consistent. So we decided to do this challenge after doing our 12K steps a day challenge that we also did for 2 weeks. So the only real rules of the challenge were that you would have to burn 800 active calories. So whether that is from working out, walking around the house, gardening, whatever you're doing all day, you've somehow had to make it up to 800 calories. To track our calories burned, we used our smartwatches. We have the Apple Watch. I know some other participants had other kind of smartwatches, but it was just the easiest way to be able to tell how many calories we were burning. But we used these to track our progress. So I would use mine to track my calories burned from working out, but I would also count calories that I was burning just doing regular stuff. So literally I would put my watch on first thing in the morning, and whatever calories it tracked from me doing chores or from me just pacing back and forth in the house, it would track those calories and I would count that towards my total active calorie goal. The purpose of this challenge was just to push ourselves. I mean, I think that most of us are working towards some kind of fitness goal, whether that is weight loss or just getting more fit in general or just building up our discipline. But the main challenge was just to see what we can do in those 2 weeks, just to see if we can be consistent. At least that was my goal. I am someone who works out pretty much every day anyway. I do all kinds of things. I like to do cardio, I walk, I lift weights. So on average, it's not hard for me to get up to like 500, 600 calories burned through active calories. So for me, going from 500 to 600 on a regular basis to doing 800 calories every day for 2 weeks, I didn't think that would be too much of a jump. I thought it might be a little bit of a challenge, but not too crazy. Now, as far as the results I was looking for from this challenge, I didn't have anything specific in mind. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm always trying to look better and fitter, be a little bit leaner, but I also thought this would be a good challenge to test how much of weight loss or physique change comes from exercise versus diet. So for the purpose of this challenge, I did take my starting stats and I decided to not change my diet. So the only thing that I was going to change was my workouts, was my activity level. At least that's the idea I had going into the challenge. I did not want to eat any more or any less because I didn't want to skew the results. I really wanted to see, okay, what kind of changes will my body make simply just from working out? If I don't change my diet whatsoever, I just continue to eat how I'm eating now. And as far as what kind of workouts I did, like I said, it was literally anything from me pacing back and forth in the house to me walking, to me lifting weights, to me boxing, swimming, using my stationary bike. Literally anything and everything I could to burn those calories. So when I first started the challenge, I started off pretty strong. I hit 800 calories and it felt challenging, but it didn't feel too crazy, like something I couldn't keep up for a little while longer. However, that was just one day. After the first couple days, really, I did start to notice that, yeah, this is kind of hard. I can't say I felt completely exhausted or totally sore or so worn out that I couldn't get up the next day and do a workout, but I did feel it. I definitely did feel it. Burning on average 600 calories to 800 calories is a big difference. So I was feeling it. I didn't feel incredibly sore, but I think that was in part because I was purposely trying to not lift too heavy weights when I was lifting weights. I was purposely trying to do things that I didn't think would make me too sore because I knew if I was too sore the next day, it would be hard for me to continue. But even then, I admit when I first started the challenge, the first week, I was a little worried because I wasn't sure if I would be able to make it the full challenge working out every single day like this because it did feel kind of intense. yes, I was literally doing anything and everything I could to burn those calories. So I was working out for on average of 2 hours at a time if I was trying to burn the majority of my calories in the daytime or in the morning time. So that is the first thing that I noticed about this challenge, is that it is very time consuming. I spent a lot of time on my feet, working out, on my bicycle, doing random stuff just to burn those calories, just to meet that goal. Because I have a flexible schedule, it was easier for me to do this, but I can definitely see how for someone else with a more rigid schedule, it would be pretty hard. It would be pretty tough to work out 2 hours plus per day, every single day. I was also worried that I would get really bored with working out because I was doing kind of the same things every single day. I was worried that I would have like a crash out day where I was just not going to be able to go on. And honestly, something that did surprise me about myself was that I felt I was a lot more fit or had a lot more stamina than I thought. Some mornings I would wake up and I'd be like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it today. But once I had my coffee and I warmed up, I was actually surprised at how much energy I had. And like I said, I think maybe the first 2 days were a little more rough, but after that, I surprised myself in how much easier it got for me to do the workouts every single day, and how I even still enjoyed them when I was doing them. It still felt good for me. I never felt like I was too sore. I never felt like I was too worn out. I also slept really well most nights because by the end of the day, after doing all that working out, all that activity, I was pretty tired. My body would feel it, and I do feel like I got really good sleep. So that was a nice surprise. I was actually pretty proud of myself that I have gotten to this point where I did feel fit enough to be doing this challenge. There were only 2 days where I did not meet the 800 calorie count. And one of those was because I just started my menstrual cycle. It just wasn't happening that day. And then there was another day where I just wasn't feeling it. I think I got to like 600 something calories, and I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. My body kind of gave up at that point. So technically I did not burn 800 calories every single day for 2 weeks. But that was something that we had talked about previously in our challenge group, was that, look, this challenge is not about trying to burn ourselves out. We did not want to hurt ourselves or injure ourselves, because this was a challenge that was meant to help us grow stronger. So we knew from the start, like, hey, if we needed a break, or if we were not going to be able to do the full 800 calories one day, like, we were going to take the break, because we're not trying to hurt ourselves over here. It's just meant to be fun. But other than those 2 days, which were spaced out between the time period that I did this challenge, I reached the goal. So even though I enjoyed the challenge, I even enjoyed the workouts, I must admit that I was pretty happy when the challenge came to an end just yesterday. As much as I love working out, I was glad to be able to take a rest day today and not have to worry about reaching 800 calories and spending like half my day trying to work out. So now we get to the results of this challenge, because I'm sure most people want to know, okay, how did your body change during those 2 weeks? I think a lot of people would want to believe that, hey, if you are burning 800 calories every single day, you're super active, you're working out for 2 hours plus every single day, you probably lost a lot of weight, right? And the answer to that is not really. So I started tracking my weight the first day when I started the challenge, and normally I am around 135, 136. That's kind of where I fluctuate, or have been fluctuating recently. When I first started the challenge, I hadn't weighed myself in a while, and I was kind of surprised that I was all the way up to 139. I don't know if that was like the cheesecake that I had eaten from a previous weekend when I did another challenge on my Patreon, but it was a little higher than I expected. However, the first 2 days of the challenge, the first 2 days burning 800 calories, I weighed myself those 2 consecutive days, and I lost a few pounds within like those 3 days. So I'm sure a lot of that was just water weight. Like I said, I kind of fluctuate between 135, 136. So I'm sure that in part that was just my body kind of getting back to normal. Honestly, it's really hard to gauge your progress, especially your weight loss progress or your body composition progress, with just the scale alone, because of the weight fluctuations. Like literally you can gain like 2 to 8 pounds a day, I think they say on average, from just water weight inflammation, which is why I am so glad to be collabing with today's partner, the Renpho Morpho Scale.
If you've ever been on a fitness journey, then you probably
probably know how frustrating the scale can be. You do everything right for a week, you hit your workouts, you get your steps in, you eat perfectly, then you step on the scale and nothing. Or maybe the number on the scale even goes up, which is the most frustrating thing of all about going on a weight loss journey, which is why I've started to use the Renpho Morphoscan Nova. Because the truth is, scale weight alone doesn't tell you very much, especially if you're trying to build muscle, lose fat, or do any kind of body recomp. What I like about the Morphoscan Nova is that it gives me a much bigger picture of what is actually going on inside my body. Instead of only showing my weight, it tracks things like body fat percentage, muscle mass, visceral fat, metabolic age, and over 50 different body metrics. It can even break down muscle and fat measurements for each leg, each arm, and even your trunk individually. So if you ever want to know just how much fat percentage is in your legs versus your arms versus your abdomen, this scale can tell you that. It can also tell you if the bicep curls you've been doing lately are actually helping you build muscle or not, which is pretty cool. So let's say, for example, I'm doing one of my fitness challenges for 2 weeks and the scale doesn't move at all. Normally, that would be pretty discouraging. But if I use the Morphoscan Nova and I see that my body fat percentage is dropping and my lean muscle mass is increasing, then I can see that I am still making progress even though the scale weight has not budged. And honestly, that's the kind of progress that I care about. The Morphoscan Nova uses an app to track all your measurements. The app also tracks your trends over time, which is important, because one weigh-in doesn't really mean anything. Hydration, food intake, sleep, and a million other things can affect a single measurement. What really matters is the overall trend. So having a place where you can have a clear picture of your trend, whether it's going up or down, is really helpful in knowing whether you are making progress in your fitness journey or not. That's why I'm so excited to be using the Morphoscan Nova, because I have lots of upcoming fitness challenges planned, and the Morphoscan is going to help me get a clearer picture of the changes I'm making in my body composition. So if you are also serious about improving your health and fitness, this is one of those tools that will help you track real progress instead of obsessing over a single number on a scale. And with Prime Day coming up, it's honestly one of the wellness products that I would recommend getting like today. So check out the link below to get your very own Renpho Morphoscan this Prime Day and take your fitness journey to the next level. But because I knew that scale weight was not the best gauge of progress, I also took my measurements before I started this challenge. So I started this challenge around 139 and ended this challenge weighing in around 136.6. As far as my measurements go, I started the challenge with 25.5-inch waist and 35.5-inch hips. At the end of the challenge, my waist measurements were just under 25.5, so maybe like 25.3, and my hip measurement was pretty much the same. It was 35.5. It's kind of difficult to see in the videos that I'm showing you guys on screen, but my waist was a little bit smaller. I don't know if maybe I just measured a little bit wrong the first time around. I'm not sure. But as you can see, my results were not very significant. I mean, personally, I do feel a little bit stronger. I do feel a little tighter. I also know I feel a little bit maybe inflamed, like I'm holding on to some water weight because of all the working out and no rest days. I do feel a little bit puffy, but honestly, I do think that I see and feel some kind of change, but it wasn't a huge difference. And I don't know that I was really expecting a huge difference, especially since I didn't change my diet, which is something that I did find a little bit difficult during this challenge. I attempted to not change my diet whatsoever, as far as not eat any more or any less, because like I said, I did not want to skew the results. I just wanted to see what kind of results I could get from working out alone. And at first, I was pretty good at that. I was just eating a normal amount. I wasn't overeating. I was not undereating. And I also was not feeling extra hungry because of all the working out, which was something that I was a little surprised at. I thought that I would feel a difference in my appetite. Quite honestly, I did not. I do think that I say subconsciously, but it was pretty conscious. I was eating a little more than usual. So I guess I lied a little bit when I said that I didn't change my diet whatsoever. Because here's the thing with me personally, and I know so many of us do this, when we work out a lot, when we feel like we are burning a lot of extra calories, when we feel like we are getting more activity in, I think that there is this subconscious belief that, well, I'm burning more calories, so that means that I can eat whatever I want, or I can eat more because I'm just burning it all off. And honestly, if weight loss is your goal, then that is not the right approach because it's just not true. So I did notice that during this challenge, I was eating a little bit more because of that, because I had this idea in my head that, well, I'm probably burning more than usual, so that means I can have a little more than usual. Problem was, I wasn't having a little more than usual. I was going to town on my bad habit right now, which is nuts and raisins. So did that have something to do with my results? Would I have maybe lost more fat if I had not overeaten on the nuts and the raisins? Possibly. I think for sure, had I been tracking my food and tracking my calories, I would have seen more of a difference on the scale at least. But because I was not tracking, and I think I was subconsciously, but not really, kind of more consciously eating more than usual, my weight pretty much stayed the same. I didn't really see a difference there, which is great for maintaining. So if your goal is just to maintain your weight and eat more than usual, then yeah, working out a lot more will help you do that. So even though it would have been fun to have filmed this video and shown like some awesome transformation after 2 weeks of doing this challenge, I think that it is still an interesting result because it really does prove the point that it is calories in versus calories out. So like when I tell you, I was working out 2 hours plus a day trying to get to 800 calories. I mean, I could easily eat 800 calories in like 10 minutes by eating like a piece of cheesecake. You know what I mean? So that's why I think that weight loss can be so frustrating for people who really don't understand the calories in, calories out, or really don't understand just how easy it is to eat calories and just how hard it is to burn those calories. But overall, I'm happy with the challenge. I'm glad that we did it, even though I didn't see significant results. Like I said, I do feel like I see some kind of difference. It's not drastic whatsoever, but I do feel different. I feel more confident with myself. I feel fitter. I feel like, wow, like I did that. Like I am a lot tougher, a lot stronger than I really thought I was, which is the point of these challenges. So what does this mean for you and your weight loss journey? Should you also try this challenge? Well, number one, like I said, I hope that this just brings home the point that calories in versus calories out does matter, and it is a little more trickier than you might think, in that you probably will need to track your calories at some point. Unless you are in a calorie deficit, then you will not lose weight. So unless you know you are in a calorie deficit because you are tracking your calories or determining that you are in a calorie deficit in some other way, then you will probably not see results. It doesn't matter how many calories you burn or how many calories you think you're burning if you are not also paying attention to your diet. So do not make the mistake that I did in thinking that you can eat more now because you are burning more calories than usual. If weight maintenance is your goal, awesome. If weight loss is your goal, then that doesn't work. You still need to watch what you eat. The easiest way, I think, to do that is to track your calories, track your macros, find some way of tracking your food intake. But just burning more calories on a daily basis alone won't do the trick unless you are certain that you are eating the same amount of calories you are eating right now. Again, it's the equation, calories in versus calories out. If you burn more calories than usual, but make up those calories by eating more food, then it just kind of negates the point. There's no weight loss. So if you do plan on doing a challenge like this and your goal is weight loss, then you definitely need to make sure that you are paying attention to your diet. The other thing I want to point out again is that this is very time consuming. So for a lot of people, it may not really be feasible to work out 2 hours plus a day. And I totally get it. If you have the time and want to do it, awesome. I think other ways that you could incorporate this challenge into your life is maybe make that a goal of yours to do this challenge on days only when you do have the time. Or you can set your calorie target for something a little bit lower. So in our challenge group, obviously we are all at different fitness levels. Not everyone had their goal to beat 800 calories. For some people, it was 600 calories. For other people, it was literally just to burn more calories than they normally did on a daily basis. So really, the challenge can be anything that you want it to be. The ultimate goal goal was just to get you more active than you normally are and to be consistent with something, to build discipline, which really is at the core of what these challenges are. So even if you do this challenge and you also do not see a change in your body weight, the fact that you were consistent with it and disciplined enough to stick with it is reward in itself, because it means that you are stronger than you were and are more capable than you thought you were. So in conclusion, like I said in the beginning of this video, my two biggest takeaways from burning 800 calories every single day for 2 weeks straight was that I was a lot stronger, a lot fitter than I thought I was, and two, working out for 2 hours plus a day, burning 800 calories every single day for 2 weeks straight will not help you lose weight unless you are also tracking your calories, especially the closer you are to your goal weight. Anyhow, guys, that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found this kind of interesting. Maybe this is something that you want to try for yourself. And if you are interested in doing more challenges like this in a group setting, then definitely check out my Patreon and become a member of the Discipline Club, where we do these challenges monthly. I'm really loving it so far. I think that it is so fun and it has helped me be so consistent, because I don't know that I would have kept up this challenge on my own had I not been in this group with all of you guys, because it is so different when you do this on your own versus when you know you have a whole group of people who are counting on you to hold them accountable, who are looking up to you as like the creator of the challenge. So it definitely, puts a little fire under my ass. And for you guys as well, I think it's just having the camaraderie and the community around these challenges. And also because you're paying for it, you know what I mean? I feel like when I pay for something, I'm like, I want to get the benefit out of it. So if you feel like you need some help building discipline, you need some help just starting, maybe some help just getting out of a rut, then I would definitely recommend joining the Discipline Club with us. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. I will see you guys next time.
Thanks so much for watching. If you are looking for more unfiltered content from me, definitely check out my Patreon. That's where I post the videos that are a little too controversial for YouTube, including videos that have been deleted, demonetized, or that I simply didn't feel comfortable posting publicly here. But beyond the extra content, Patreon has honestly become a really amazing community. Inside the Discipline Club tier, we do monthly challenges focused on weight loss, discipline, fitness, mindset, and self-improvement. The goal is not just to lose weight. It's to genuinely become the best version of yourself and get in the best shape of your life alongside other people who are trying to do the same thing. So if you want more accountability, motivation, behind the scenes content, and a group of people pushing toward the same goals, I would love to have you there. And if you mainly just want access to bonus videos and extra content from me, I also have Spotify subscriptions now. That option is more simple and video focused without all the additional community features and challenges from Patreon. Find the links to both my Patreon and Spotify subscriptions below. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.